It's been a while since I've given a grow room update, and honestly, there is a lot going on. So let me show you what I have growing here. So on the top shelf of my grow light stand, I have a whole flat of oregano. This is 72 oregano plants that I started. I overseeded just a wee little bit, but I still have a few more that need to be separated and put into another flat. Then I have some microdwarf tomatoes. These ones are going to be my baby microdwarfs mixed with a little bit of thyme that I need to be pruning soon. And then these are a whole flat of orange hat microdwarf tomatoes. This tray is on my heat mat and I seeded it only on March 15th. And as you can see, I already have a little bit of germination. So this one I did some statice and straw flower. There's some alyssums, celosia, a bunch of flowers in here for my cut flowers as well as borders. Coming down one shelf, I have a bunch of peppers. I have 3 varieties of hot peppers as well as some sweet peppers here. This tray still needs to be separated a little bit. This one is some foxgloves there. And then I have some portulacas as well as a few pansies back there. Here are the strawberries that I did a recent video on how to transplant strawberries. So these ones are doing really well in their 4-inch pots. And the onions have already gone crazy since I did that last video on trimming onions very recently, and they're gonna need another haircut pretty soon here. As you can see, these onions down here, they're also gonna need another haircut pretty soon as well. So down here I have more microdwarf tomatoes. I have Red Robin variety, one of my absolute favorite of microdwarf tomatoes, and these ones are Canary microdwarf tomatoes as well as a few more strawberries there. I seeded some Lola Rosa lettuce yesterday, one of my absolute favorite varieties of lettuce. I ended up soaking the seeds for 24 hours because they're older seeds. So anything that floated, I threw out, and anything that sunk, I was able to plant. And then I have some more peppers and whatnot that I recently seeded in those bags on the heat mat. Down here, I just did this 288 cell flat yesterday. So in here, I have a few varieties of asters. I have gomphrena, a bunch of cut flowers. So there's also straw flower, some rainbow mix sweet alyssums that I want to put. They're dwarf alyssum. I want to put in the same basket as my pale pink dwarf asters because I absolutely loved those a few years ago. I also have 3 varieties of basil, Maui lime being one of my absolute favorite varieties of basil. You can get those at Sunshine Farms. They're fantastic. And then I have some cilantro, a few varieties of lettuce in here, as well as some spinach and kale. I also planted some parsley last night. Parsley is another thing that I really like to soak before planting because it improves the germination and the speed of germination for that. Then coming over here, I have all my canna lilies I started in January from seed. As you can see, they are quite large now, and these are now ready to be transplanted into the 1-gallon pots before I sell them or plant them into my garden. So as you can see, they're getting a little bit root bound on a few of them, so there's a little leaf damage from that, but I will be doing that later. These are some of my microdwarf tomatoes, orange hat, that I planted December 1st, and they're growing really well in these pots. And then I just transplanted last night a bunch of baby pixie cabbage for my spring garden, as well as some Green Magic broccoli. So these 6 packs will be moving to the greenhouse later today once I find some more clean trays for that. Then over here, I have my AeroGarden, which is, of course, looking fantastic. I have 2 orange hat microdwarf tomatoes in here. As you can see, I'll be picking some ripe tomatoes soon. And then in the middle, I have some Piccolino dwarf basil. They are absolutely adorable. I have been picking these and eating them in some wraps and cooking, and they're still growing like crazy, and the plant is absolutely adorable. And then lastly, I have this shelf over here. So I recently transplanted a bunch of dwarf petunia mix in these 50 flats. So I have my dwarf petunias right here. This one is a 72 cell of some mixed begonias. These ones I grew a few years ago, and they're mainly pink and white begonias. And then this is another tray of some seedlings that absolutely need to be attended to. I have some torchlight gaillardias, some peach gaillardias, some more foxgloves, so Fairy Queen apricot foxgloves, some rainbow coleus that needs to be transplanted, more dwarf mixed petunias. I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to actually doing that because I already have a 50 flat, and that's quite a lot of petunias. So Red Hot Poker, they take forever to germinate. I started these on February 13, and as you can see, I now have 3 coming up. So it's been over a month, and they're finally starting to come up. So I'm excited about that. I have some chives here and some blue fescue grass over here. And then last but not least, I have 3 more flats here. I have some Vera lavender, English lavender, rosemary, some thyme, and Greek oregano over there. And then for some of my containers, I have some Fancy Pants geraniums that are ivy leaf geranium for hanging baskets, and some gazanias back here, some sunshine hybrid mix gazanias. And then over here, another flat of herbs. So I have some rosemary and some sage back there. So as you can see, there is a lot growing in my grow room here. I hope you like this quick little grow room update. If you would like to see more gardening content like this, or some of my how-to videos that I have coming up, hit the like button, hit subscribe on the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. And like always, thank you for watching.